Hi, Homer. Hi, Ashley.
Hello.
Hi, Cindy.
How you doing? Thanks.
Can you hear me, Ashley?
I heard you, Cindy.
Okay, I just had a package delivery. My dogs are barking. Sorry.
So did we.
Probably the same truck.
Yeah.
Oh. How are you guys coping?
Oh, we're just pretty fine. Sometimes it's a little bit like Groundhog Day, where you do schoolwork every day, then you play, you go to bed, you repeat.
Yeah.
But we can't complain. It's honestly been just fine.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think if it wasn't for the red bud trail, I would lose my mind.
That has been wonderful for us too. Yeah.
Yeah.
How are your grandkids, Cindy?
That has actually been the most painful thing, not being able to interact with my grandkids, except through my daughter and son-in-law are still working, and she's a nurse practitioner, and so it's not. I'm high risk, unfortunately, so it's just has to be.
Hi, Brian.
At a distance. Hello.
Hi, Martha.
Hi.
Hi, Martha.
Hi, Cindy.
We should be having a party for you.
Hey, I do have a party. I have had a party. Look what I got today.
Oh, nice.
And I got it from you guys. Where's the card?
Oh.
Anyway, thank you. It was a thank you for your dedication, etc. So
yeah.
For those of you who didn't know you'd sent them, here they are.
Yeah.
And thank you very much.
I'm glad you made us look good.
Yeah.
Oh. Let's see here. Get this.
Moving around.
It's funny, the only Zoom work or meetings I've done have been exercise classes, so I wasn't sure how this was going to work.
I see Mike's name. Mike, are you, can you hear us? Maybe you stepped away. And there's Blake.
He's fixing his hair.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me now? This is Brian.
Yes.
Okay, good. I noticed I had the mute on there for a while.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I see Mike. Yeah.
I hear you, Mike.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Blake.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
Hanging in.
Can anybody hear me?
We can hear you.
Yep.
Hey, good. You made it. Great.
Well, I've been on here, but I'm not figuring it out. It says it's my council iPad, so if it's working, great. I'm glad you can't see me.
Carolyn, can you hear me?
I hear all of you.
In the bottom left, there's a thing that might say start video. On your iPad?
I see something up at the top that says that.
Mine's at the top.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, I liked it better when it just said the other.
So have you guys been doing a lot of reading?
I have. It's been delightful.
I just walk. I just walk and walk.
I finished Netflix.
Finish the whole thing.
I think you're in good company with a lot of people.
Yes, unfortunately, the library shutdown has forced me into Netflix and Hulu.
What should I watch? Any suggestions?
Well, there's a show about tigers.
I haven't heard it. Really? Love tigers.
Seriously? Not seriously, are you?
Blake, you're kidding, right?
About the tigers? Oh no, I love them.
Is that the Tiger King thing? I hear everybody talking about it.
No, I watched Tiger King. I'm ashamed to say I watched it.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
We all should be.
I just got done binging The Outer Banks. It's about kids that his dad was finding a lost treasure off the key. I think it was the Keys in Florida. So it was pretty cool. Even though it was about 16 and 17-year-olds, it was worth a binge.
Mm-hmm. We've been hitting the comedies like the old Parks and Rec, 30 Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Just light, anything light.
I'm
Go ahead.
catching up on the last 2 seasons of Frasier, which I had never seen. That show is so funny.
Oh, wow.
So
Hey, I know everybody but Cindy, and I have figured out who she is. But hi, Cindy. It's nice to meet you.
Hi, I think we've met, but I'm probably the newest board member to ever move to Andover, and that was 8 years ago. So
Yeah, that's the same. That's around the same time we moved here too, Cindy.
oh, really? Uh-huh. I'm a retired school librarian. I was active in the American Association of School Librarians, and I was on the Wichita Area Library Board and met Tom. That's how I got involved with the Andover Board.
Hello, everybody. Can you see me?
Yep.
Yes.
We've been watching our grandkids, so our Netflix selections have been PG.
Man, I've really gotten into
They ain't
Disney
fun.
Disney Plus,
Yeah.
from the vault, and then the old movie, The Absent-Minded Professor. I just watched this last weekend with my son. Oh man, brings it back, and it's awesome because they're all G. So I was like, all right, let's do it.
That's I can't. I just I have more fun just going through and looking at all the titles on Disney Plus, Homer. It's unbelievable what's there. Really, all the old stuff. It's great. We've been watching we've only watched a couple episodes on Netflix called Dead to Me.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
We just started that last night.
it's great. So far, I'm enjoying the heck out of it.
So Martha, did you get a delivery?
I did, Linda. It's so beautiful. It's been
Oh,
a long
good.
time since I've had flowers delivered, and I squealed. It was fun. Thank you so much. So sweet.
Well, you're welcome. That's from the board thanking you for all your service.
It means a lot. Thank you so much. It really hurts me a little bit that I'm not going to be able to see you guys every month. You're just all so special, and I don't think this group would have come together under any other circumstances, and it's just been a total joy to be with you. And thanks for letting me tune in tonight and say goodbye.
Good.
Yes,
Good,
you will
good.
definitely be missed.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you, Martha. I was hoping you might be here for tonight's going away.
Yeah,
So.
I'll be here, and I may be at another meeting too, because we haven't finished the logo up yet. So I want to see that through.
Okay, great.
Are we now officially under the Angel administration?
Sorry, that's funny. Isn't that toward the end of the meeting where that officially happens?
Oh, okay.
Or is that me starting? Do I need to take the reins and start the meeting?
Linda
Oh.
starts the meeting. You
I think you have to vote on the
have
officers.
to
don't you?
elect the officers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I guess I'm missing the boat then. I should be starting the meeting, huh?
And Karen sends her apologies. She's not feeling well. She won't be able to attend.
Oh, that's not good.
I
She said
don't
it's
see
not
Linda.
coronavirus, but
Okay, well, I will officially start the meeting. At whatever time it is.
It's 11.
And you know what? I did not print off my agenda. So I assume the first thing is to go through the minutes of the last meeting.
Yes.
Okay. Any additions or corrections?
Nope.
Okay, and the financials from last week or from last month?
yeah, Karen wasn't able to get those in, so she apologizes. We'll get those out to you as soon as we can.
Okay. So do we have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So
I'll make
moved.
that motion.
Okay, a second?
Yes, second.
Excellent.
Okay.
So moved, second? It is, it is.
I'm already sensing an issue here. I don't
Brian?
recognize everyone's voices, and I can't.
Brian motioned and Cindy seconded.
Okay,
Yep.
so could we maybe say
This-
before we? Could we start by saying this is Brian or this is Cindy, and that would help me kind of keep track of it.
Sure. This is Brian.
Because as I'm looking down, I can't. I thought it was Brian, but who knows, right? Could have been Mike over there, like trying to imitate you or something.
That's right.
He would.
Okay, Brian motion, Cindy second. Okay.
Okay, so this is Linda, and what's the next thing on the agenda?
Director's report.
All right, I'll turn it over to.
Well, strange times. I don't have a physical circulation report for you. It would be really low. I thought you might be interested in some of our digital circulation. What I did was I took the date after we closed up until last week. So that was 49 days. You can believe that or not.
Oh.
We got those numbers. And so then I went ahead and started 49 days from 1st of January. That's sort of before the panic began. So you can see there's an increase, specifically a lot of ebook increases. So I think that's good. I've already started shifting more purchasing towards ebooks and audiobooks. When we see our final spreadsheet at the end of the year for where things went, the physical materials will be down, but the digital ones will be up just because the demand is there. I think that's important. I'm glad we have digital services. You know, we've had a lot of questions, particularly when we first started, about how to access those, and that's been good. We've been getting people set up with accounts so they can get ebooks and audiobooks. just a few notes to highlight from my written report. Karen actually started receiving shipments from our vendor at her house, so she could work on getting the books ready for when we eventually return. I think that's commendable. In the midst of all this, 4 other libraries joined our library consortium: Augusta, El Dorado, Mulvane, and Rose Hill. We're really excited about that, just because our neighbors, we're so close to Mulvane and Augusta. So you'll see their stuff now in our catalog, and once we resume full sharing, you'll be able to borrow things from there. You can return things from there, or you can use their libraries right now. Another fun thing was Jennifer started doing some story times on Facebook. I don't know if you saw those, but those were really well received. They were a lot of fun. I think it was really cool. Staff started to do book reviews, and we did some work for upcoming book discussions that we're going to have in the fall. Just this last week, I was in the Big Read Wichita meeting, and we can't announce what the title is, but staff know, so don't pester them, but they've had a chance to read the book in advance. And then our theme for the summer was like fairy tales, so everyone had some Brothers Grimm to read, and we're going to do I don't know if you recall, Can Read. That was a group we were planning on doing joint programming with our other libraries in our system, where each one would take a fairy tale and do a program based on that. Well, obviously we postponed that to the fall, just so many things having to be postponed. I stayed busy, following what's going on in the library world. In response to this, I was just at a meeting today for interlibrary loan resumption, trying to get an idea of what people are doing and how things stand. This is uncharted territory really for all of us, so we're learning as we go. Just from today's meeting, the recommendation was to, when you receive something from another library or from a patron, set it aside for 72 hours, and that was the plan. So I'm happy for that. And the book drop is now open. We're ready to return to get returns. We just haven't advertised that yet with all the rain and everything. Staff did go back into work last week, but only at a staggered, reduced schedule. So there wouldn't be that many in the building at the same time. And like myself, I'm high risk, so I went in over the weekends and one evening, and I did remote work. And then 2 other staff members who have husbands who are high risk, so we tried to minimize their interaction with anyone else. And of course, we all have masks, and we're following the 6 feet rule. We've tried to stay busy, and we've been, I think, pretty responsive when people have reached out, but everyone's ready to get back in it. We'll talk about that later, but if you have any questions about my report.
So Tom, this is Linda. How do you think staff is doing? How's their morale?
I think they're a little nervous once having to return. I think that was a bit nervous. I know they were really relieved when we did close, because there was a lot of anxiety about that. So they were really relieved about that. There have been a few that have mentioned that they're nervous about resumption. The good thing for us is they will have really no contact with anyone once they do, with the general public, because we're not doing curbside. We're not going to be going out to people's cars and handing them things. They'll be able to come to the lobby and get their hold and return their stuff, and we don't have to be there when they do it. We'll watch them do it from the other side of the glass. So that's good. I think they're doing pretty good. Spirits seemed okay. Some of them, and I had a lot of anxiety myself, just leading up to this, and I still do. Being high risk, I have to be very, very careful, and course, we're all tired of being quarantined, but so yeah, I think there's there's a desire to sort of return to somewhat regular, but we won't be having people come into the library for some time now. So
Okay.
for some time in the future. So I think that'll help staff quite a bit. And they've seen my, everyone's seen what I wrote up and what I proposed, and they know that safety is my primary concern. So from what from what I've been told, that they understand that, and they believe that they believe me when I say that. So I'm happy for that.
Good. Okay, good. Thank you, Tom.
Can I just add, I appreciate Tom's leadership through the, can you hear me? The MPLA organization, and I've noticed he's been staying up with KLA and the discussions on safety, and that keeps us at the forefront and being responsible to both patron needs and library safety.
I agree. Couldn't agree more.
Okay. Okay. Oh, now people are coming back again. So this is Linda. Thank you, Tom. And I can only see a couple people, so I'm just hoping and assuming they're there and you can hear me. Let's go to the next agenda item. Blake, I can see you. Can you tell us what's next on the agenda?
Looks like liaison reports.
Okay, thank you.
City council.
Yes, city council. So probably the biggest thing right now is staff coming back to work Monday, the 18th, with the social distancing in mind, closed doors. If they're alone, they can have the mask off in their office, but otherwise masks on. Trying to keep the snack room and lunch room to a minimum, eating at your desk, stuff like that, 6 foot distance, and that kind of thing. But they'll start that Monday. We wanted to actually give a date so that we could even prep those folks that needed to do daycare and that kind of stuff, and give them a date, even though we don't know what phase we're going to be in as of Monday. We wanted to prepare them and go ahead and set a date and put all those practices in place for right now. The biggest thing that we talked about at the workshop was the concerts happening at the amphitheater. There was 2 concerts proposed, one in August, one in October. When we went back to the folks and I don't know who the bands are, I'm sorry. So when we went to the folks for the August concert, they actually wanted to postpone it till 2021. So we obliged them. So we won't have a concert until, and I don't know if it's for sure in October, but the plan is to have one in October as of right now. And then I think the next biggest thing as far as we're going to have it or we're not going to have it was, I believe, softball has decided to not have a softball season at the fields. And I think that was probably the biggest thing that just came out today. So that's about it. Does anyone have any questions or maybe anything I didn't touch on? Tom, I really appreciate your communication with your plans so far. And even, Blake, responses as well. I mean, I think that helps us. I think the discussion helps because at the end of the day, no one can predict the future, but we can make sure that staff's safe and our patrons and folks are safe as much as we can, educate. So that's all I have as far as the city council report.
Homer, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I've wondered about this. How is the financial impact of all the different businesses that have had to close within Andover. How are we doing on revenue?
All the numbers aren't in yet, but I think the prediction is 15% less as of right now. But like,
that's actually good. I'm assuming that's because our biggest revenue came from Dillon's anyway, and they've been very busy.
yeah. So I don't think it's probably too soon to judge how the rest of the year is going to be, because there's a lot of things that play into that. But just there was a new grant proposal that we're trying to help with the small businesses here in town that just came out literally yesterday. Jenny put in the application and stuff for it today. So that may or may not help. It just depends on, there's a bunch of criteria, and that's actually a pass-through grant. So paperwork, helping the certification with the paperwork and stuff is what the city will be helping with, and then whether it's approved or not. So.
Well, the question that everybody I talk to wants to know is, when are we going to have hair salons and nail salons and things like that open again?
Man, you know, it's you know, the hard part about the plans and the phases is everyone wants a date. The problem is they're not done by a date, even though she put out a date. It's, you know, it's a milestone. So before that stuff has to open, and trust me, I need the barbershop to open. It's you know, it's one of those things that we just don't know, and I don't know what even the precautions to put, you know, on the barbershop and that kind of stuff is. Even though there's other businesses, people say that are out there that are operating that aren't closed. So it's definitely a tough dynamic as far as who's open, who's not, when do they open, and that kind of stuff. So.
Are we following whatever Governor Kelly puts out, or how's that working?
Right now, we are, you know, as much as we can. We're also taking notes from Sedgwick County and, you know, the folks around us as well. But yeah, as far as I know, we're following the governor's, you know, this is what we're going to do. So, like I said, the milestones have to be reached before the next phases can open.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Homer. This is Linda again, and the friends, as a friends group, our last meeting was right before our last board meeting, and we had to obviously cancel the friends events, and we had to postpone the book sale, semi-annual book sale, which was supposed to go in April. So I don't know when that will be rescheduled. So I basically don't have any.
Yeah, they're just not going to do it. They're just going to do the fall sale.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there will be no. They'll just have the one sale in 2020.
Okay.
And that, you know, the other thing is, like, we're not taking donations. And I don't know when we'll resume taking those, but it's going to be a while before we take donations. Not until it's safe, and we have to be able to get all of our returns. You know, we have to have room for those. So, but yeah, they're planning on a fall sale.
Okay. That's all I had from the friends. Is there anything else, Tom, that you've heard of?
No.
Okay. What's the next agenda item?
Old business.
Oh, yeah. It would be old business, and the first item is the logo.
The logo?
The
Sorry,
logo.
I was
Does anybody have any
unmuting
report?
myself. We have been
She broke up for me. Anybody else?
Yeah, she stopped for me.
Had a little bit of a delay. You can't hear me? You can't not hear me?
Now,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now, yeah, now we can.
Okay. I'm not sure which microphone I'm coming in on, so that might be the problem. Our process got slowed a little bit, but Brian Miller is just a very incredible guy and full of ideas and full of thought process. And so we had a wonderful meeting. I'm trying to remember where it was in relation to our last meeting, but the committee sat down with Brian and all 5 people agreed on some changes. And he actually sat there in the meeting and made changes in front of us, which is a very brave thing to do for an artist and a creative person. And then he went away to make the changes. And when he came back, he had another round of suggestions to make to us. So we've been digesting those. I was corresponding with Ashley this morning, and we're going to take the feedback that we've gotten and meet with Brian again, or talk to Brian again. And we didn't want to bring a logo to you until we felt it was finished. So that's why we don't have anything to share with you tonight. But
Martha,
yeah.
can you characterize some of the back and forth type changes that he suggested? I mean, what are we talking about? Colors or what?
Colors, yeah, colors.
Okay.
Yeah, he came back with some different color suggestions, and also he hadn't quite implemented all of the changes that we discussed at the meeting. They were just, little details, but we just didn't want to show it to you until we felt it was something that we were all happy about. So Tom and Ashley have said it's okay for me to continue on the committee until we see this through. So Ashley and I will take the lead on it and get with Brian and finish making the changes. So hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have something for you.
This is Linda. Thank you, Martha.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember to mute myself when I'm not speaking. What's the next item on the old business?
It is library expansion.
I did, this is Tom. I did meet with Kirk Jurgensen via phone. He's in the process of working up cost estimations. Of course, getting a plan is one thing, and these things take a long time. So I'm assuming anything is going to be delayed by years, but I think you'll enjoy seeing what the plan is, and it'll be nice to have that when the time is right to act upon it. But hopefully he'll have cost estimations done, and we'll be able to show you the inspections.
Was he going to have a rendering soon?
Yeah, it's pretty much done. There's I think he just had to change one little thing, and then but he was working on costs and he wanted my approval on a certain few things that he wanted to change before he did it. So yeah, we should have something now. I don't know that we'll have time to look at it in June, because we'll have to do our, we need June and July. We've got a budget work on, but definitely we'll have there's a rendering out there.
Can you take a step or two backwards? You have worked through a process of giving him your wish list, and he has come back and given you some preliminary sketches, if you will, of how he sees the best way to implement your wish list. And you've kind of approved that in order to get to the next step, which is cost on that. Is that fairly accurate?
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Okay. And who on your staff has been involved in that process besides you?
He met with everyone they met with everyone on staff, except for I think the Sydney who's in college right now. I don't think she made it. So they had separate meetings. And then he had a meeting with Karen and Jennifer and I, and he's met with me multiple times. And but yeah, all the staff, they had a meeting where we weren't there, where the administrative team were not in attendance. So that was good. I think it was neat that they had some really cool ideas and suggestions.
And did we bracket in the architect in terms of costs, or are we just letting the needs drive the cost?
You mean in terms of the architect's fee?
Yeah, the budget for what he's going to come back with. Did you give him?
No, we hadn't done that. No.
And one more question. Has the city been involved in any of your meetings with the architect?
No,
yet?
not yet. Not yet.
Okay. What is the plan in your mind to get them involved? At what point?
Once that we get cost estimates and you guys like what you see, then we would talk with them, particularly with the engineer and superintendent, just make sure that it matches what's possible. And I think he's worked some with Les already a little bit, but yeah. So I would say after we get the plan to you guys, then we would pull them in and see what they have to say.
Yeah, I would guess the city's not particularly interested in being drug along the way every little thing. Their attitude, I'm sure, is, what are you going to do? give us the bottom line. So
yeah, that's what when I talked about it a while back to when Mark Detter was still a city administrator, that was he's like, well, yeah, you guys come up with, then you come up with something, some wish lists and estimates, and then we'll talk. So yeah.
Okay, this is Linda. So we will have as a board an opportunity to see more of the details and give our input before things get finalized, I assume.
Definitely, yes.
And I think somebody needs to mute, somebody who's got kids in the background.
Maybe me. I unmuted for a second
Okay.
to tell you that the next one is new business elections. I'm okay if anyone wants my position.
I'll speak up. This is Ashley. Since I will be moving up to president, I'd like to nominate Mike to fill the vice president position.
oh, you're going to make me take notes.
Yeah. No. I wouldn't throw you under the bus.
That should be the new person's job.
Just me.
just Blake.
We lost Linda.
Does she think, this is Cindy, does she think she's finished now that we're talking about new officers?
Here she comes.
Okay, this is Linda. I got kicked off. Did anybody else get kicked off?
Nope.
Okay, okay. I was just gonna go through the process of the election of new officers, or different officers. And I can't remember, how do we do this? Do we only, which ones are eligible for election, or do we go through all of them?
Did you hear
Well,
that
Tom, can you help?
Linda Ashley nominated Mike to be vice president?
Right?
Yeah, each one is an annual. Rather the secretary and treasurer are annual.
Oh, okay. So did we, whilst I was gone, did we already vote on any of them? Okay.
Not yet.
So do we start with the president and then the vice president and then go down the list?
Or I think you can do a slate of all of them at once and probably vote on everyone unless there's some objections or multiples.
Well, just a couple questions. In terms of, do we have to do the, I think Ashley has been nominated and that's already been cleared, right? So we're just doing the final vote on her. And then for vice president, is there any other roles besides vice president that we're voting on? Okay, so it's just that. Do we need a second on that?
So this is Linda. Did somebody make a formal
Yes.
motion to, oh, okay.
Actually did. A questionable one at that.
Thanks.
So I'm sorry, because I lost internet connection. So Ashley, what was your motion?
I move to nominate Mike to be the vice president, to move into that position.
Oh, okay. And did we have a second for that?
I'll second. It's Brian.
Okay, so Ashley moved and Brian seconded that we have Mike serve as the vice president. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Cindy, aye.
Okay, so be it then. And do we need to vote on Ashley as president then?
Probably.
Let's do it, just so we've got it in the minutes. I think that, don't you think that would be appropriate?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so would somebody?
It's okay. This is Brian. I think, I assume everyone's still okay with me being treasurer and then everyone else the same. So I think you could just list everybody's office down and just vote on everybody at once to confirm everybody.
Nobody else wants to be the secretary? Martha?
I'm sorry, I'm not here anymore.
Oh. I moved
Blake,
that
are you
we.
okay?
This is what my hand looks like after 3 years of doing this.
This is Cindy. I think I proved I can't do that after I lost the minutes from one meeting.
This is Caroline. Blake, I think you've been doing a wonderful job. I went through your minutes and I especially enjoyed the ones from April. Those were great.
Just one question.
I've never received so much overwhelming support for anything in my whole life. This is nice.
I had a question. Does Linda have any interest in being the note taker, the secretary?
Well, I don't want to usurp Blake's responsibilities.
Oh, it wouldn't be a problem at all.
I always feel for people that get stuck in a position they really don't want to be in. I feel your pain. If I had to take notes, I would, bad handwriting at all. I wouldn't want to do it either. So I'm kind of feeling you. But I just thought, since Linda's done it before, and if she doesn't mind it, maybe we could nominate her if she's willing and able.
I just wanted to give someone else an opportunity. It's a good resume builder.
We don't believe you.
Elder.
Oh, I'm
Blake,
gone.
if you are ready to turn it over, I'd be willing to accept that.
Okay, that'd be fine with me.
Okay.
Sorry, I lost you guys on the camera here. Hang on, there he is. Okay.
Well, I nominate Linda for
So I,
secretary. And so include that in the one vote, I guess, that we're going to have.
okay.
Okay.
So
So
Mike,
this is Caroline. So can I just put forth a slate of candidates that that includes everybody and do it that way?
That's what we're all going to do.
Okay. So Angel will be the president, Mike, the vice president, Linda now the secretary, and Brian remains the treasurer. That's my motion.
I'll second it.
who was the second?
Blake.
All right.
Sorry, I should have said that. Blake, and I second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. So be it then. Congratulations, Ashley. Congratulations, Mike and Brian, and we'll keep on going.
Blake, you owe me lunch for that, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Virtual lunch.
Yeah. You have a pizza delivered to his door.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
And
next
then-
agenda item.
The next thing is the reopening, I think reopening procedures. And that's it.
Okay. Well, this is Linda. I'll ask Tom to address that.
Okay, thank you. This is Tom again. Saw my write-up of it. And I think it's important to notice what's happening around us with other libraries. Derby started doing a drive-up on the 4th. Yeah, May 4th. Monday, Goddard started doing curbside. Wichita Public is doing curbside and drive-up. They started this week, the 11th. El Dorado and Augusta and Rose Hill plan to wait till the 18th, and that's what I think we need to do too. Is I didn't want us to jump into it too soon. What I like about our situation is that we're not going to be doing curbside. I've talked to some other library directors that don't like the idea of curbside because you have a staff member go out to someone's car and exchange things from them. So you are right next to someone. We have the lobby. We can post signs, respect social distancing, one group or person at a time to come in. Staff can set the holds and the carts in the lobby, then they can leave. They don't have to be in, they won't be in the lobby at the same time as people. So it's safer than drive up or curbside. And that's what the plan is, to do that. When things get returned, they'll be taken to probably the conference room for the time being, and they'll be set on a table. Tables will be labeled or by date, so we know it needs 72 hours before it gets checked in and then is ready to go back on the shelves. When you do that, you don't have to clean them. You don't need to spray them. We're not even sure how good that was. Wiping every book with Lysol wipes is not a good thing. Waste of Lysol wipes, and frankly, the virus won't live long enough if you wait it out. In terms of interlibrary loan, the courier is resuming on the 18th, but they're going to start just by delivering things that they've had in their storage. So we've got packages that have been supposed to come to us since mid-March. So they're not going to do any pickups this first week or so. They're just going to be delivering things they've already been sitting on. And then they'll start picking things up, things that have already been boxed up, prior to the shutdown. And then after that second phase, then phase 3 would be they'll resume courier. And again, we would treat that just like any other book return, as it would be a 72-hour turnaround. That's the plan. The next phase would be to allow people back into the building. First, the plexiglass shielding will have to be up, and we'll need signage on the floors in front of the circulation desks, and we'll need signage throughout. We're looking at removing at least half of the furniture, maybe more. I honestly thought about just taking it all out for a momentary, just to not to encourage people just to go get the material that they want and then leave, and no lingering sort of. That would be I think the next phase. And then after that, once we get further along, maybe small groups and things. Again, I want us to be more conservative than our, friends in retail, commercial side of things. And I'm really glad we have that lobby. That's going to help us a lot.
So, Tom, this is Linda. I have a question about the computer room, the computer lab, which seems to me needs some special consideration. What are the plans for that?
Yeah, one thing Goddard is doing is taking reservations for it. We could do that. We've never done that before. The other option would be is to take out a bunch of them and just have a very few computers in there. That way there would be 6 feet. That would really, I'm not sure how many we would be able to have. Not very many. So it's kind of unfortunate, but initially I don't know that we would. So yeah, we need to look at that. It might be easier just to do that, because if you've never done reservation system, it can be tough to set one up just because people aren't used to having it. But we would definitely want to limit people's time in there just so other people could come in. But yeah, I don't know. I need to get in there with the tape measure and see how many computers we would be able to use if we kept it in, or otherwise, we might have to do some sort of reservation. But yeah, the capacity is going to go way down in terms of, amount of people in that room at one time is going to drop significantly.
Okay. And this is Linda again. What about when we first start checking out books? I assume that games and American Girl dolls will come later.
No, those can go out at the same time. American Girl dolls we might want to hold off on, just because I hate to set something that valuable out in the lobby for anyone to pick up. But yeah, no, the games and things can all. American Girl is probably the only thing that we would not proceed with, and that's based more on the replacement cost than anything else.
Okay.
I have a thought. This is Ashley on the American Girl doll. If you decide one way to be able to loan them out in a safe manner would be that whenever someone reserves it, they could arrive and call the front desk during office hours. And then a staff member could take the doll to the lobby, and then the family could come pick up the doll. But then again, you choose what you think is wise.
Yeah, I think that would work. I'd like to be able to lend them out. Just I mean, this, it could really brighten someone's week to have the doll. So that's a great idea. Yeah, that could easily be done that way.
Yeah, that's what I've actually done with a few different stores that I've chosen to purchase items from. I've gotten there, called, just like Dylan's click list. You arrive and you call, and then the service is brought to you. So if that's feasible, and if you think that's something I suggest.
Sure do that. Mm-hmm.
Tom, this is Cindy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I had a thought about back to your computer lab and reservations. As a patron, I would think it would be nice to know that you had a time, and maybe I've seen some places on, I can't remember if it was a gym where you had a time started on the hour and then they had to be done, 20 minutes for cleaning in between. And so as a patron, if you had a patron just arrive thinking they were going to use the computer and it's not available, that might save some hard feelings there. Secondly, when you're doing your lobby pickup, have you thought about whether or not you're going to have your restrooms locked?
We had them shut off.
Yeah.
Closed. We don't have, the doors can't lock, but we put a table in front of it.
Yes.
So
Okay.
would have to, and said restrooms closed. But yeah, no.
Mhm.
The restrooms in Central Park are open, but we don't want,
Right.
It's easier not to have them since they're multi-stall facilities. If it were just a single stall, then that'd be fine. But yeah, they're multi-stall restrooms.
Okay.
Tom, I had a question about the ventilation of the building. As far as my concerns go, that's one of my bigger concerns with the library. It's a fairly new building. It's probably, it's designed for air conditioning and heating and not to let a lot of air in or out. And, is there any way, when the weather allows, what have you, that the front doors can remain open to allow for a little more air ventilation?
Sure, we could do that. We could open the front doors on a nice day. Hopefully next week will be nice spring weather. We could open them, and then that way that lobby would get all that fresh air, and instead of not having it. But yeah, those doors can be set to remain open.
Okay. It's something to think about. Obviously, you have your plan to put together, but the I've done a lot of reading about this, and one of the main considerations is just how much ventilation there is in a building. Other considerations, how many people are going to be in that building at any given time and what they're going to be doing. But yeah, I think the more you can do to try to mitigate anything is obviously a positive. So the question, the risk in a building like the big risk in a building like the library is somebody comes in and sneezes, and that would release enough particles to infect everyone in the building at that point in time. It just would, and it lingers. So I think it's really important to think about those kinds of things, for sure.
In terms of staff precautions, we're asking everyone to take their temperature before they come to work. If they have a high temperature, they're not to come to work. City has ordered us a touchless thermometer. Those are hard to find right now, and so we'll get that, and we'll be able to check them from work. But for the time being, they're supposed to take their temperature in the morning, and we have masks for everyone. Has a mask or has more than one mask, and if you were to go out to pick up the book drop and things, wear your mask if you're going to be near people or within 6 feet of we shouldn't really be within 6 feet of each other, paying attention, but it's hard. But yeah, everyone has to have a mask in case they need to wear it.
That was a great question from Blake. This is Caroline, regarding ventilation, but it also made me think about the storm shelter. I presume that we're in that kind of season, and if we were to have some big storm, it's not library that goes and opens it up anyway, isn't it? Police that do that, or fire?
It actually is only open during library hours.
Okay.
So
I thought they would come in the evening and even open it. So only if the library is open? Okay.
yes. That restroom in Central Park is a storm shelter, but yeah, when the library is open, and that's one of those things that yeah, we would that'd be hard to I mean, I don't know that you could turn someone away if they didn't have a mask, and if there were an actual tornado siren going off.
Right. Let's just hope we don't have a storm.
Yeah, right.
Would it be reasonable to get some extra masks to put into your emergency kit in the FEMA room?
Yes. Let's see. Sherry Ninke, who used to work at the library, made masks for us with books on them, so they're kind of cool. But that's a good idea to have a few in the FEMA room.
So, Tom, this is Linda. Have you gotten the support you need from maintenance to do the kind of disinfecting and cleaning you need on a regular basis?
I think so. They're actually doing less work because they're not having to vacuum and do a lot of that. Yeah. And then, other thing I told staff was you need to clean your own workstation when you get there. Like, it's your health. Like, when I took first aid, they always made the person who was going to interact with the doll had to clean it because they'd do a better job. You're going to be, if it's your lips, it's going to go in the doll. You're going to do a better job of cleaning it than if you clean it after you're done. So everyone's supposed to clean theirs. Those of them that do shared workstations. A fair amount of us have our own computers, and that's not an issue. But yeah.
Okay, any other questions for Tom for reopening? I assume that the primary communication with our patrons is going to continue to be through Facebook. Is that right?
Yeah, and our website, Instagram as well, and then we'll have signage up at the library.
Yeah. Okay.
And the nice thing is we did this when we did the soft closure. This is essentially the soft closure that when we phased in our so some people are already familiar with it, so it's like soft reopening.
Tom, this is Homer. If Jenny can't get you a thermometer, infrared one, let me know and I can see what I can drum up.
Thanks, Homer.
Okay.
Tom, Homer's question about the thermometer, are you going to be able to do this soft opening without a thermometer?
Yeah, talking to the city, talking to Jenny, yeah, it's just that's what when they do, they're working, and everyone just has to take their temperature right before they leave.
But if you don't have one by the 18th, are you going to be able to? You're not going to be able to do what you want to do on the 18th, correct?
No. No, we would still be able to do it. It's just
you would.
It would be we would trust that people would take their temperature right before they leave. But yeah, we would. Yes.
Leave home. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Give people another chance to ask any more questions. What's the next thing on our agenda?
That's it.
Excellent. So is this being telecast through the city?
Yes, you're on, and you'll be available on YouTube as well. So
Whoopee. So I assume we will just remain flexible and see, you've been doing a great job of keeping us informed, Tom.
Yeah, and for sure it'll stay that way. In terms of the next board meeting, either we could have it in like the gallery and space it out more, or female room and space it out 6 feet, or we could do Zoom. I think the city's planning on resuming in-person meetings near the end of May. Whether or not that happens, but if the next time we have a board meeting in person, it could be done in the gallery with 6 feet in between. I don't know if you saw Sedgwick County Commission on TV, they were doing their meetings spread out.
So Tom, I did have one more question about summer reading program.
Oh yes, I'm glad you said something. So we recently purchased some software called BeamStack. It's what they use at Wichita Public Library and at the Derby Public Library, and it tracks your reading. People can get the app and use the app on their phone or their tablet, or they can log into the website. A lot of people are familiar with it. It works really well. So that's how people will be tracking summer reading. We're not going to be doing any in-person programming, none of that. We will probably do a couple Facebook Live videos and things, and we still do have prize packs for kids. Just everybody knows we'll have to figure out how to do that. It would be something similar to if we had opened up the library, then it would be sort of a we'd have them on a card or something. Otherwise, we could maybe put them in the lobby too. But yeah, it'll be very different. Be a very different summer reading. But we're gonna try to keep children engaged. And the thing is they're used to, and they've been doing some distance learning, so hopefully they'll be able to interact with us in similar ways to what they did at their school.
Super. Okay. Any other items we need to discuss before I turn the gavel over to Ashley and let her close the meeting? I do want to sincerely say it's been an honor to serve. It turned out to be quite an experience, and I'm so glad that we have such a fantastic board and director and staff. You guys rock. So thank you,
Linda.
Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome. And thank you again, Martha.
It's been a pleasure. I miss you
And
guys.
welcome. Welcome, Carolyn.
Caroline.
Caroline, happy to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I forgot to unmute.
All right. Okay, Ashley, you want to close the meeting for us?
Sure. I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting.
I'll motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. Linda seconds.
Linda seconds.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, all opposed. Okay, I will adjourn the meeting at 7:08 p.m.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody. Good to see you.
Bye, Martha.
Bye.
Mm.